Hello and welcome back. In this particular video, we're going to talk about heading tags. As you know, whenever you create a blog post, a landing page, or a website, the headings at the very top tend to be very big. That's what we are going to talk about, that particular tag. Now, that particular tag, people refer to it as H1 tags, H2 tags, H3 tags, and more. Let me explain what it's defined by. If we do H1 tag, remember, there are two brackets that are surrounding the word H1. It can be lowercase h or it can be uppercase h. It really doesn't matter. If you're wondering if there's a difference, no, there is really no difference. You open the tag up and now you can put the word. This is going to be your headline or your heading, the big word, title, or whatever you want it to be. You will write out the headline text here. When it's time to close that down, remember, it's going to be H1, except the end tag is going to have a slash right before the word. If I minimize this, that's what it looks like. So, you put H1, the actual text, and then you close it out by doing H1 with a slash right before here. Bracket, slash, and then the word. That's what the H1 tag or headline tag is now. If you want to have a heading, but you don't want it to be as big as the first headline, or maybe you have like a sub-headline that you want it to be a little bit smaller, then you increase the number. It's a little bit of backwards thinking. It's number 1 as the top number, then number 2 and number 3. If you think about the Olympics, for example, you have the number 1 person, the number 2 person, and the number 3 person. The number 1 person has a bigger prize. So in this case, number 1 is the bigger headline. The number 2 person in the Olympics has a prize that is not as big as number 1's prize, but is a lot bigger than number 3's prize. That's kind of how it works. If you want to decrease in size, it would go H2, H3, H4, and so forth. You would do the exact same thing. This could be something like a sub-headline text. Then, we can close that off with slash H2. This could be something like a sectional headline, and we close it off with slash H3. So, as the number gets bigger, the heading gets smaller, but it's still a headline. Now, when Google comes along, for example, and they read these headlines, they say, okay, this is the headline. This might be not as important as this headline. We don't know exactly, but that's what we've seen. Now, you can go back over to your HTML editor and apply this knowledge that I've taught you. Go here, and we'll create a blank page. We're going to go down here, and I'm going to say headline text. I'm going to go under the body text drop down here. Click on that, and we're going to see heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Obviously, the main big headline is going to be H1. If I go to the source tab, you will be able to see that it does indeed say H1 headline text, and then it closes it off. Of course, if we highlight this again and we change it to heading 2, you see how it gets smaller? Change it to heading 3 and it gets smaller. The greater the heading, the smaller we get. If you think about the Olympic analogy that I talked about earlier, that's how it works. This is heading 3. If we take a look at the source code here, we can see it starts with H3 and then it closes off. I wanted to cover headlines simply because headlines are something that you're, generally speaking, going to use all the time, especially when it comes to landing pages, web pages, and even WordPress. Any type of content management system will use this type of code. It's universal. Hopefully, that makes sense, and we'll move on to the next video.